In this activity, we're going to combine everything we learned in Activity 1, Splats Drum Machine, and Activity 2, Splats Boombox, to become an unruly DJ. You'll be building a program that plays music when you press run and when you click on the virtual splat. Use the MIDI conversion guide to help you create your code today. Remember that MIDI values are numbers that represent notes on a regular keyboard. So for example, the note A is represented by the number 57. Remember, today's goal is to be an Unruly Splats DJ. Crash is waiting to hear your latest creation so that he finally has some music to dance to. Let's get started making some music. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select more than one splat. So I'm going to go up here to my number panel and I'm going to choose 6. You can choose any number of blocks you want. For me, I'm going to work with 6. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my blocks and I'm going to drag and drop some of my essential blocks. 2 important blocks we're working with today are when splat pressed and when program starts. This is because we want our music to begin not only when the program begins, but when we press on specific splats. Next, I'm going to go to the sounds panel and I'm going to drag and drop some essential blocks that we've been working with for the past 2 activities. So we definitely want some drums, and we want to be able to play specific notes, and we want those specific notes to be able to turn off. And you'll notice that we have lots of other goodies here that you can choose from. You can have some core sounds, animal sounds, sci-fi. I'm going to work with some animal sounds because Crash is a gorilla. I think he's going to appreciate some animal sounds. Going back to our blocks panel, we're going to go to controls and we're going to grab the repeat block and grab the delay block. So now is a great time to pause the video if you want to set up your blocks so you can follow along. Once you have your essential blocks set up, you can start exploring. So I'm going to quickly switch my screen to show you something that I've been working on for Crash. Here is what I have so far for Crash. So you'll notice that when my program starts, I'm going to have certain instruments repeat certain notes 4 times. So my splat number 1 is programmed to be a flute, splat number 2 is the steel drum, splat number 3 is a music box, and splat number 4 is a snare drum. I use my delay block so that there is a delay in between the notes being played, and I use when splat pressed to play a donkey noise. So let's run the program and see what it sounds like. The music stopped after the program repeated itself 4 times. However, splat number 5, since it's programmed to be pressed, I can press splat number 5 and play the donkey noise even when the program isn't running. You'll notice today while you're coding that you're going to have to go back into your blocks panel fairly often. You really want to try to use as many of these as you can, and I highly recommend you explore all the different sounds. So for instance, I decided I wanted to play an instrument, so I made sure I dragged out my instrument block, and I had set my instrument to a steel drum, but you can also change it to a saxophone. You can change it to more instruments and more drums. Don't forget we have more drums. And it's also really fun to use some of these cartoon noises or game noises. For example, you can swap out donkey with a cartoon noise. Scroll down and you can make it a drip sound. Let's see what that sounds like. That sounds pretty good. I like that sound. I like to keep my coding area fairly clean, so I'm going to get rid of the ones I'm not using right now. It's very easy to just drag and drop, and if you decide that you did something by mistake, you can go here to these arrows and you can undo whatever you just did. The last thing I'm going to show you is how to program splat number 6 to make a noise even when the program isn't running. So we're going to go to when splat pressed. We're going to change this to splat number 6, and then go to our sounds, and we're going to want to play sound. Snap that on, move it over here, and then let's make it play a sports sound. Drag and drop. I want to hear some booing. Press splat number 6. That sounds pretty good. Let's run our program one more time. I know what I created sounds amazing, but I cannot wait to hear what you guys come up with. Remember to save your creation and share it with your teacher so that you can enter the crash challenge.